Hi, it's Elari. This week I decided to share a couple of paragraphs from the book I'm in the process of writing, and it's about radical self-acceptance. So I chose this topic because I think it's so important if you want to live a life where you feel free and fully self-expressed, if you want to have deeper confidence. So why radical self-acceptance? Well, I'm going to get into that, but first, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Elari Onawa, and I am the author of Just Believe How Faith in Yourself Shifts Everything. I've also written thousands of articles over the years since starting my business in 2003. I've designed hundreds of programs, and I also am a life on purpose coach. So that may seem like a lot, but I've been doing this work for over 17 years at the time I'm recording this, because I felt a deep need to help people create more of what they really truly want in life from the heart and soul of who they are, rather than from limitations or paradigms that really don't serve who they are. So welcome if you're new, welcome if you've been a subscriber for a while. It's a delight to see you here virtually. So let's get back to radical self-acceptance. So why is that so important? Well, think of it this way. Can you feel whole and complete if you are judging yourself or making yourself wrong? Can you feel that you are a divine expression of great spirit or God or the divine or source, whatever your preferred term is? Can you feel that if you're rejecting part of who you are, or a past experience, or judging it as wrong, or feeling shame around it? And the reality is that we all have learned to suppress parts of our experiences because we've judged them as wrong, or maybe we're using somebody else's standard, or we are using our own standard of perfection, which is not grounded at the level of your soul truth. So I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs from my upcoming book, which is all about turning inward to yourself, turning to your non-physical aspects, your soul aspects, and to your non-physical helpers, so that you can feel a deeper connection to who you truly are. And that includes not just the higher aspects and the things we want to acknowledge, but it also includes those wonderful experiences that may not feel so wonderful if we judge them from a purely physical perspective. So here are a couple of paragraphs, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what radical self-acceptance really is and why that's so important. When you welcome everything you've lived, it's like coming home to yourself. There are no judgments, and there is nothing to prove. Just you in all your glory, no matter what. What freedom. And somehow those aspects that you've previously judged or wanted to hide or felt shame or guilt about are simply events that are part of your journey. And so there is no longer anything to hide or fix or to feel embarrassed about. When you accept all of it, you deepen your ability to see life as your soul does, as a loving observer who also gets to play in the sandbox of time and space. There isn't anything wrong, just choices that you get to learn from. Everything then becomes valuable feedback. You realize that what you've been searching for is already here with you now. It's found when you say yes to all of the events that you've lived. There's no longer a need to make them wrong. And so you have this deep peace permeating into your life, regardless of your current circumstances. So that is the possibility that exists. And radical self-acceptance is a requirement if you want to feel whole and complete. And I know this might seem like a big leap to some of you. And by radically accepting every event that's happened to you, you might feel that somehow you're saying yes and you want to, and you might inadvertently welcome that or bring that experience back into your life. But there's something that transcends self-love when you decide that you are going to accept everything that has happened to you, who you are now, and that you're going to stop judging and stop criticizing yourself. Because what happens when you make that choice is you start to see yourself in a different way. You see yourself like your soul sees you. And not only that, you have this tremendous freedom and peace around the events. And because you're no longer making them wrong, you can actually see the gifts within those events. And then from there, you can make a really powerful choice about how you want to be supported in the future and going forward. So you learn that you don't have to suffer, you don't have to feel pain in order to wake up, in order for your soul, to get your attention. Instead, you can enter into this wonderful partnership, this powerful symbiotic relationship where you're honoring both the physical realities and the non-physical realities. And in this partnership, there is such loving support and potential that emerges. So I'm inviting you to embrace radical self-acceptance. That means no judgment of yourself, no making yourself wrong, but instead step into being that loving observer and just notice, what's happening. And when you don't judge it, notice what can emerge. What wisdom can you receive if you just see it as feedback? And then you can make a choice from there rather than trying to, rather than investing your energy in trying to hide something that really isn't something that you need to hide. It's actually something that you can learn from and grow from. So I invite you to make the choice, to make a strong commitment, to let go of self-criticism and self-judgment. This doesn't mean that you slow your growth down. It means you actually accelerate it. It means that you actually open yourself up to more love and compassion. So do that, make that commitment. And if you want to have additional support, you can reach out to me. I'll leave a link to my website in the description of the video below. Or, you can pass this video along and invite your friends to create a pact that you will suspend self-judgment and self-criticism, and instead you're going to radically accept every event in your life, every aspect of yourself, and you're going to allow it to be as it is without judgment. But you're going to say yes, that it has a viable reason for existing and it's valuable in some way, even if you can't see it. So the key is no judgment, no self-criticism, and if you bring a community around that, something that you can do that's also very powerful is listen for your friend. And if you hear that they're criticizing themselves, that they're judging themselves or an event that has occurred, instead, ask them to let that go and just to see it as valuable, viable feedback. What if there's a positive purpose for that event? What if that told you something that in a way that you needed to hear at that particular point in time that actually propelled you into a new area of interest or or gave you meaning or purpose. So open yourself up to the possibilities. And if you want to know more about when my next book is coming out, then subscribe. And I will be leaving more snippets about my book in the weeks ahead. And I'll also let you know as well when it comes out and how to grab a copy too, if that's calling you. So for now, I want to say thank you for tuning in and have a wonderful week. Here's to you. Here's to all of you. Walk in beauty.